I just got in the last of the stuff this morning to get this car 100% mechanically done on my end. I'm still waiting on the tune to come in. I feel like I wasted all day yesterday because I took Cobb and EFI's learning, or their course online of how to like do the basics of tuning. It definitely does not teach you enough to be able to actually use the program, but I have the program now specifically for 05 STIs, so I could play with tunes. I'm gonna play with tunes. I'm gonna play with it a little bit because it's very confusing. The program is very confusing. But anyway, Karma 05 behind me. She gonna be done today, mechanically speaking, on my end. I contacted Surgeline. We got a tune set up for October 8th, and we also have a base tune on the way. So it gives us about 3 weeks to break in this motor. Once it's broken in, we'll send it to the dyno. We'll see how much power it makes. My goal for this car is around 650-ish wheel horsepower. That's what I'm targeting. We'll see what it actually does, because honestly, I don't know. But one of the big things that I messed up on when putting this car together was fuel line, because all the fuel line I used wasn't rated for E85. This, however, is. So this is Vibrant's -6 fuel line. It's just E85 friendly. I personally don't like buying fuel line kits out there. For me, I'll just build my own. It's much cheaper to just buy fuel line. I have a box full of fittings already. And whenever I buy fuel line kits, it's like minimal fittings. It never gives me everything I need. But we're gonna get the fuel system fixed today, as well as some other smaller stuff. But before we get into that, I never do merch shout outs, but we got a merch drop this Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You guys have seen me wearing this hoodie around the garage and whatnot. I've been trying to avoid wearing all the other ones because I know myself and I know how dirty I get, and I'd absolutely wreck everything. So we're gonna do a quick merch run through, then we're gonna get to the car. So we got the Rising Sun Karma hoodie. Honestly, one of my favorites. I've been wearing it around. As you guys know, hoodie quality is I always shoot for like good hoodie quality and whatnot because I'm a hoodie stickler. But we got the Rising Sun Karma on it. We got the mint hoodies. Actually, a lot of people were like digging the mint hoodies when I posted them up on Instagram. These are actually super dope. These are limited run on these ones, and they're made to order. So if you guys do order the mint one, just keep in mind it might take like a week to ship or so. And then we finally have hats, because everyone has asked me for hats so long. I finally made hats, and everything is updated with the new logos on the site. For this mint hoodie, we just got a simple logo design on it. And you guys know in the wintertime I live in beanies, so we finally actually did a Smeedia beanie. I actually like these a lot more than the ones that I had prior. These things are dope. And the pink Rising Sun, this one's a limited edition one also if you decided to get the pink one. For those of you guys that like basic tees like I do, boom, basic tee. I've been wearing this one around too, just because it's black, and you guys know I absolutely destroy clothes in the garage. Can't really destroy a black shirt. I mean, you can, but a little harder to do. But I can't make it all only about the 05 STI. I had to give the EG33 STI some love. So we got some like nice baseball cut tees as well, because I actually really like wearing these ones. Super comfortable, actually these ones come in multiple colors too, and we're doing all sizes. All sizes for everyone, from extra small up to like, I think 5XL. We've got like every size you could think of, every size, except for like a 100XL, but I don't think that would fit anything. And then lastly, just the Karma commemorative tee, because I figured why not? Why not? So all of this will be live and more on Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We got stickers, we got banners also, because some of you guys have been asking for Smeedia banners. I've had one on the car for a little while. You guys just haven't seen it because the hood's been up the entire time. So if you're wanting to cop anything, go grab it 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You guys always know all merch sales go straight back into the channel for parts, cars. You guys know the spiel. Let's get into getting this thing done. So let me show you what I got over here on the table. So I was needing fuel line. We have to redo all the fuel line going from the fuel tank all the way up here, all of the lines, everything. Every fuel line needs to be redone because these Vibrant ones are E85 compatible and they are AN. These are not PTFE line. So to show you guys, this is PTFE line right here. This is like 10 feet of PTFE line. PTFE line has that plastic liner on the inside of it, if it'll focus. Jesus. So it has a plastic liner on the inside of it where AN fittings don't. And you can't interchange AN fittings with PTFE fittings. They're two totally different fittings. And fittings are expensive. So instead of just buying fittings and more PTFE line, I was just able to find that Vibrant's line was E85 compatible. So we're just gonna swap over to that AN line versus using PTFE. Now the rest of the stuff I needed an appropriate radiator cap for this radiator. The Koyo radiator did not come with one. This is a cap that I had just sitting around from an old upper coolant reservoir. It's just not the right KPA for that radiator, and it can cause vacuum issues with this hose if it comes down to it, and the rest of the cooling system if it can't like exert pressure out of the pressure relief into the coolant overflow, which I'm still waiting on that, but I can just make a temporary can for startup on that one. So I got a OEM STI radiator cap. Call me bougie if you want. I just like OEM plus stuff. This one I didn't need. I just wanted it because it's a black dipstick and not a yellow dipstick. So I got a black dipstick. And then the last of the stuff that I needed was all the oil feed stuff. So right here we have a, what is this, 1/8 MPT to -4 oil feed fitting for the turbo. We've got both of the 90s for the oil feed line, so this way we can actually get oil feed done. That's what I'm going to start with right now, is just getting the smaller stuff knocked out and thrown on the car. All of this is super simple to throw on. We're just going to thread on our fittings onto our oil feed line, get that fitting put into the turbo. I'm not even going to tell you how to install that because you should know, and I'm not going to tell you how to install that because you should know. So let's get this little stuff knocked out, and we'll get to doing fuel line in this thing. I need to figure out fuel line. I'm not looking forward to it. Hardest install of the day, the dipstick. It's got like a weird pressure relief button on it. Don't know why, but it looks a lot better than stock. Second hardest install of the day, radiator cap. Not gonna lie, OEM is pretty nice. Actually, OEM is very nice. Dude, that looks surprisingly better than I thought. Never open when hot. Done. Let's do oil feed. So that's pretty tight right there, Johnny. Is this here oil line? Gucci. Oil feed for turbo. So all the smaller stuff is already done. Dipstick is on here. It has this like weird button to like relieve pressure in it. I don't know why. New radiator caps on. Looks pretty good. A little pricey in my opinion. And we have our oil feed on. So like I said before, this is going to the back of the head. This one is then wrapping under the intake manifold, coming up and then feeding the turbo right there. So the small stuff knocked out. Easy. Now I need to redo this fuel system. So the way I'm going to do it this time is Cobb commented on one of the prior videos, and the ethanol sensor should be on the feed side or the pressure side of the fuel system and not on the return side or the low pressure side. So what I'm going to end up doing is I had these riv nuts right there where my fuel pressure regulator was mounted before. I'm just going to move them up. So I've got a dot right there. I already tested it with all of these fittings on there to make sure that it will fit. It'll just be a very tight fit with everything in there. So let's get some holes drilled for that, some riv nuts installed in the strut tower right there. And then we can start building a fuel system. Riv nut gun. Alright, with you mounted, will you clear the hood? Oh, you do. Go. Got our fuel pressure regulator mounted now. It's pretty on there. It's not going anywhere. That bracket is just the old IAG AOS bracket that I ended up making work. As you guys saw, I used riv nuts before. I used riv nuts again. It's easy to use. They're easy to install. Now I guess I just have 2 extra mounting holes right there if I need to put anything there. It is what it is. So at this point, we're ready to start building fuel line. Now the first thing before I even start building fuel line is I'm gonna get all my old AN fittings back off of all of these lines. So I'm just gonna throw them in the vise, pull off all these AN fittings. Once they're all off, this line is trash. Like, there's no point in keeping this unless Matt wants this line for mittens. But as soon as I take these fittings off, the lines just are not going to be reusable in my opinion, so I'll probably just trash them anyways. But let's get all our fittings back, and then we can start making a new fuel system. The one I'm not looking forward to is redoing the one that goes from the fuel pump under the car up to the fuel filter up to the, oh god, dude, that's gonna suck. But our feed line from the fuel filter is going to come up to the bottom of the ethanol sensor right here, and then it'll go through the ethanol sensor, and then that one will go over to the center of the engine, Y off, and then it'll go to our fuel rails, and our fuel rails will go back up to the fuel pressure regulator, and then the bottom port on the fuel pressure regulator will go back to the hard line. Woo! A lot of fuel stuff today, but we should, in theory, by the end of this, we should be able to turn the car over and build oil pressure if I don't get the base tuned today. If I don't get the base tuned today, we can at least turn it over to hear it to make sure that everything sounds solid, make sure that we have oil pressure in there, and get oil flowing through the engine. We're gonna do it anyways. Let's build a fuel system first. So with a little bit of wizardry here, we got all of our AN fittings clean. So I've got 245s, two 180s, two straights, -6 male to -6 male, female adapter thing, guy, that thing. And then I have like every 90-degree fitting you could think of. So we're gonna do the return line from the bottom of the fuel pressure regulator up to the hard line first, just to get that line done with. Then we'll jump over to our feed line. We'll either do feed or return on the all the fuel line up in the engine. I need to bend this more. I hate breaking in new hats. Bend that around some more. So all the fuel line in the engine bay is done. I'm like more than happy with it. I'm happier with it now than I was before. It came out like beautifully. That vibrant line is so nice to work with in comparison to what I was getting on Amazon. Don't get me wrong, this Amazon line that I had right here worked great for gas. Never had any issues with it. However, for E85, we need something a little more robust. So very happy with the setup we have here. My fuel line game is on point. Tell me that's not beautiful. Look at that. Look how perfect all of these lines route and look. Oh God, dude, it just looks so good. It's visually appealing also. So off the fuel pressure regulator, we have our return on the bottom, wrapping up and just going to the hard line right there. Right here, we've got the return for the what is this, driver's side rail, and then this one wraps down underneath everything and goes to the passenger side fuel rail return. As for the feed, so as per Cobb's instructions, I moved the, well, I didn't move it, but I rerouted it so that way the ethanol sensor was on the high pressure side of the fuel system. So now we have a 180 coming off of it, going down, wrapping around. And then I don't really know how well you guys are gonna be able to see this, but I'm like so pleased with this. Down there, where are you? Show yourself. Reveal yourself. It's like right under the hob switch right there. There's a 90. That thing goes to, it's that green radium T fitting. There's no way I'm gonna be able to show you guys because the AMS manifold is like right in the way. But it goes, the feed goes from the ethanol sensor up to that radium Y fitting. It's not a T, it's a Y. And then it wraps around, goes to the feed right here, wraps around, goes to the feed right there. So we have all of our engine bay fuel lines done. Now I need to get a feed line from that guy right there down to our fuel filter underneath of the car. And then after that one's done, I need to do the fuel filter to the fuel pumps. Now I need to eat an enchilada because I am hungry and I want an enchilada and we have leftover enchiladas. So I'm gonna go eat an enchilada real quick, come back down, then we're gonna do this. To give you guys some frame of reference, it only took, I don't know, 9 feet of fuel line for the engine bay. This is what I have left over from that 10-foot roll that I just started with. Next up, I have this 20-foot roll right there that we're gonna get going next. After I have all the fuel line in there, we're gonna get the intercooler piping put back in. We'll probably fill the car up with coolant, and then we're gonna start turning it over to get oil pressure built. A, because I want to turn the engine over. B, we need to get oil pressure built. And C, I want to get oil flowing through this entire engine. If I get the base tune today, we're going to get it started today. I'm hoping I get the base tune today. If not, that's going to be the next video. Let me go eat an enchilada, and then we'll come back down. We'll keep going. All right, I know this under panel comes off somehow, because I put it in here somehow. Line go, I don't remember. Oh, God! Holy shit, that was a fucking flying spider. No! No! Stop it! One thing in this world I don't do is spiders. Come on, man. Get out of my car. Get out of here. You're not welcome. You don't have to die, but you can't live here, alright? That's not okay. That's not cool. Well, especially when you creep up on me like that. Some gas can come out. That's it? You're trying to tell me it's all the gas. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, it's all right there. Stop! I was expecting it to come out the other side. So this is our feed line from the fuel filter up to the feed. So the way I think I'm gonna do this one is, I think I'm just gonna start out with that 20-foot roll over there. I'm gonna take one of these straight fittings, put it on that giant line, run it from the fuel filter, run it up to where I want it to go in here. We'll do a mock fitment on that, get it cut, get it placed, get that fuel line done. And then it's just the last of the fuel lines in the back. And then we're done with fuel lines, thankfully. I hate doing fuel lines. So I went ahead, I just knocked out the rest of the fuel lines just to get them done with. You guys didn't miss much. Old ones out, new ones in. It's literally same. So we went from the IAG Vibrant, or IAG Amazon Special fuel lines over to straight up Vibrant lines, and those Vibrant lines are so much better. I'm so happy with how these lines came out. They just look, they look beautiful for what we just did. I'm like, to the moon with them. But all the old fuel lines are out there all right there. They're gonna end up going in the trash. Maybe I'll keep them. I don't, you know, I'll probably keep them. I'll keep the longer of the ones just in case we need them in the future. But like this came out so freaking good. Like that all looks so good. Cable management, everything, fuel line management, it's all perfect. So now I don't have a base map yet, so I can't start the car yet. But what we can do, and what I am going to do, is go ahead and get it turned over just to get oil flowing through the system. And I want to make sure that everything has compression, everything's good, everything sounds Gucci. So let's get the engine bay reassembled. I'm going to toss a little bit of oil down through the turbo right there just to get a little bit of lubrication in there. Aside from that, there's already oil in it. We're going to put some coolant in it. We're going to get this charge pipe back on. We're going to get it almost started. For the most part, almost started. So I have to disconnect the fuel pump relay in the back. I think I can already go ahead and disconnect this guy right there. Crank position is already disconnected. I got to get the battery hooked up. One thing at a time, let's knock out the engine bay. Then we'll try to crank this bad boy over. Just you know, we'll turn it over. We are ready to turn her over for the first time. I wish we had the base map so we could start it, but you know, it's whatever. God, I'm nervous. So I actually need to tighten that breather port on top of that AOS real quick, and then we'll get it turned over just to get oil pressure flowing and get it moving through everything. So nervous, very nervous right now. Very nervous at all. I'm gonna see if Melanie wants to come watch. All right, we're good to go. We're good to turn it over. I've crank disconnected. I've got fuel disconnected. I'm gonna have you watch that. So when you start to see oil come out of that, let me know.
Into the box?
Yeah, into the box. Here, you can move the box however you feel. You have the box right like that.
That's perfect.
As soon as you see oil coming out of that, let me know, okay?
Okay. Should I have a word to say?
What's the safe word?
I don't know, you decide.
What do you want the safe word to be? Like pineapple? Coconut? Tangerine? What's the safe word?
Sure, tangerine.
Okay, is that a good safe word, or if something bad happens, are you gonna say tangerine?
Tangerine! No, when the oil starts coming out, I'm gonna say tangerine.
No, when the oil comes out, just tell me there's oil coming out.
Oh. Okay.
If something bad happens, say tangerine.
Okay.
Did they do it?
No, it just moved. Nope.
Nothing?
Nothing.
There's no oil coming out of there.
Nada.
That's not good.
Nope.
I'm just giving this started real quick.
That's a terrifying sound.
Ah, it's because it's gonna spark.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay, now I'm ready.
Why do you do this? Oh. We just try to give you life. We just try to give you life. We try to give you happy life. Happy life. And you do this. You do this every time. I should learn by now. You do this every time. You think I'd learn? No. It does this every time. Every time we put together. It'd be stupid. Well, we have no oil pressure. So that's not good. I've built a handful of engines, and I've never once seen an engine take so long to get oil pressure. We got oil pressure somehow. I don't know how, but somehow we got oil pressure. I ended up taking off, I did everything I could think of. I took off the oil filter, I took off the oil galley, I went to Harbor Freight and I bought an external oil pressure gauge. We were not getting oil pressure for the life of us out of the feed line on the turbo, so I got super sketch. It's dark out right now. I've been doing this for like 2.5 hours to try to figure out oil pressure on this car. Finally got oil pressure. Don't know what changed. The only things I did, I took off the oil filter. I took off the external gauge on the galley. I poured about 200 milliliters of oil through the galley, and it came out where the oil filter would have been. So there had to have been like some sort of like vacuum lock or vacuum seal, vapor lock. So I don't know. I've never had anything do that before. But out of nowhere we got oil pressure. So I was letting the starter cool down. I just cleaned up the puddle of oil on the ground from the oil feed line on the turbo because I just did it with it off and it just shot oil literally everywhere. So I'm gonna try to prime it again. I've got everything wiped up under the car. Let's see if we get oil pressure. We should get oil pressure. We should have oil pressure. I need your love. I need your gauge. Oil. This is actually a pretty handy tool to have. If you guys don't have an oil pressure gauge, 10 out of 10 suggest one. I have all my oil lines hooked up this time, so we should see some pretty strong pressure. I'm hoping. There it goes, there it goes. Oil pressure! Look at that. We got up to about 70 psi oil pressure. Do it one more time. About 65 psi oil pressure off the starter. I'm happy with that. That's good to see. That's good to know. Let me slide back under the car to make sure that we're not leaking any oil anywhere. Make sure we're all good on the oiling system. So it looks like we are. Daddy-o, Fabio. Hey. Well, I'm not gonna lie. That was a little terrifying, but it's good to know that we have oil pressure now. Because with building those case halves, from the case halves up, I am so freaking confident in all of my bearing measurements, all of my rod measurements, everything. I am so confident with those measurements. I genuinely thought I had a bad oil pump. Some of you saw it on Facebook. Some of you saw me comment on Facebook, and I appreciate everyone who tossed in some tips. The tips definitely helped, like pulling off the oil filter and pushing oil through the oil galley on top of the engine. So now, Karma's ready to start. We just need a tune. This thing will live. That oil pump does make me a little bit nervous though. I don't know why it took so long to build oil pressure. Out of the 20 plus engines that I've put together and built, I've never seen one take so long to build oil pressure. Now my theory on that is maybe because it was from the case halves up, so it took longer for it to build oil pressure, and like I honestly don't know. I've knocked those off that vise so many times the past couple days that that's just gonna stay down there on the ground. But I'm happy, I'm glad. I was about to poop my pants. I was about to tear the whole front end of this car, or the whole front end of this engine back off and replace the oil pump. I was about to go overnight an RCM oil pump because I trust RCM over Subaru. Those Subaru oil pumps are trash, by the way. If you guys do use an OEM Subaru oil pump, take off the back clover bolts one at a time and put blue Loctite on them and send them on there with an impact driver, because they and make sure you pre-pack them. I did pre-pack that pump for anyone who's asking if I pre-packed the pump, if that's why it took so long to get oil pressure. Yes, I pre-packed the pump. But anyways, I'm gonna stop there tonight because my mental capacity to continue fighting with this car I'm about wit's end. I'm about at wit's end tonight. So I'm gonna leave it like this. I'll put the spark plugs back in tomorrow. I'll put the coil packs back in tomorrow. We'll get the base tune loaded back up tomorrow, assuming that I get it tomorrow. And then we'll start this turd. We can hear it idle, and then we can really find out all the problems. Because I guarantee you there's going to be some stupid issue with this engine. There always is. This car, it's just this car. It's not even the engine. It's the car. This car just likes to fight back. And I like it. Give me the challenge. But anyways, I'm going to end it there, you guys. So that's all I got for you guys on this one. If you liked the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button. Turn black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan, whatever color it turns for you. I'll link below this oil pressure external gauge kit for anyone who wants it. It's like 30 bucks. Well worth it to have in the garage for when I'm going to need it in the future. But if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be, go ahead and hit your boy up. I'm going to put it right in the middle of the screen, right over my face, while I'm talking. And the color of the day, what color is oil? Like goldeny brown? That's the color of the day today because I'm pretty annoyed with oil crap. But yeah. We'll get this car. Oh, the dyno date. Did I tell you guys the dyno date? October 8th for this thing. We're going to try to make it to Subi Fest. That all depends on how the dyno goes. But anyways, with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. I'm just rambling at this point. So peace out, homies. Woo! Woo! Oh, don't forget about the merch drop also. Saturday, 11 a.m. PST.